Welcome to this Windows and Computer channel, and this is the look at another system from Microsoft, which is Windows 8 and 8.1, which was released as a Windows operating system. So what you see on the screen, of course, is what Windows 8 was when it came out. So this system is, of course, has mixed reviews, if you want, because it has a lot of changes that people didn't like. But was it really a bad system? That's what we're going to check out here. So as a tech guy, I was, of course, at the forefront of the first PCs that people purchased that had Windows 8. I have actually purchased a Toshiba laptop that had Windows 8 on it when it appeared. So that was my brand new laptop at the time, a Core, a i5 Intel processor, and came with, I believe, 8 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte standard hard drive. But it did not have a touch screen. I was not looking for anything touch, so I actually chose a standard system. So Windows 8 is the next release that followed Windows Vista. Windows 7, sorry, I said Vista. Windows 7. Windows 7 had a good run, and Windows 8 is a major release that actually happened on... it was released for manufacturing on August 1st, 2012, and the retail on October 26th, 2012. Of course, it was available for users with Windows 7 as a upgrade or update for a lower price, and it was, of course, also available before its release as a technical preview. So people actually had, a little bit like Windows Insider program today, we had the first technical previews that we could look at, and that was kind of interesting. The first technical preview that came out actually looked like Windows 7 with nothing more, but as time went by, of course, the operating system emerged into this interesting new look and feel. What was the minimum requirement for Windows 8? A 1 gigahertz processor, 32 or 64 bits, and the minimum RAM, 1 gigabyte for 32 bits, 2 gigabytes for 64, but was recommended to have at least 4. Graphics card, DirectX 9 compatible, Windows driver model 1 or higher, and DirectX 10 was the recommended one. Of course, no minimum display, but 1024 by 768 pixels was kind of a recommended minimum for the screen. And of course, they recommended to have a multi-touch display screen. Space for the hard drive, 16 gigabytes for 32-bit, 16 and 20 gigabytes for 64 bits. Now, what happened here is that Microsoft decided with Windows 8 that people were ready for a touch screen device of any kind. And of course, that's not the world people were in already, so most people were still using standard laptops or desktop PCs. To make things worse, well, a lot of the things that were actually in Windows 8 were not really used much, because a lot of the computers sold did not have touch screens. And on a touch device, Windows 8 was actually really nice. And honestly, I still think that up to this day, Windows 8 is the best touch operating system that was available for Windows. And so if you had a tablet or a touch device, touch screen device, was definitely nice. Problem, if you had a mouse, or if you were like me with a laptop just with a trackpad, the biggest problem that happened there was the fact that it was not very user-friendly coming from a standard Windows we've used all the time. And so the first thing that happened, the people were really lost. I remember one of the things that I did as a tech guy for most people with non-touch devices was to remove that start screen that you see here and have it show directly a desktop, because it was easier to manage like that than it was to keep that touch screen. Also, there was, for those that remember, a charms bar that came out off of the side of the screen if you went there. So it was kind of interesting. There were, interesting concepts. But the problem is, because most people still used a standard device that was not touch, well, it was dreadfully difficult. It was followed by Windows 8.1. And Windows 8.1, actually what happened with Windows 8.1 is that it was a operating system that was meant to be used a little more with a touch kind of device. They added these little arrows and these little things to try to have you, kind of know where you're going, what you're doing with touch devices. And that was not necessarily much better, although it did improve for some. And that was something that a lot of people wanted to have, at least at a minimum, change for some form of start menu. Was it a bad system? People didn't like it because it changed their habits too much. And I think Microsoft did one major blunder in Windows 8. It was not that Windows 8 was bad. What the blunder was is that they should have included Windows 8 in two different modes. If you had a touch device, it was a touchscreen operating system. But if you had a standard laptop or a standard desktop, it should have actually default to a standard Windows with a start menu. Just that change would probably have, completely changed what the people think of the Windows 8 operating system. Because in itself, it was rock solid. The performance was there. It was actually a very good Windows. It was just not well adapted to the standard market. So as a tech guy, I did the adjustments for most people so that they actually used it as more of a desktop environment. But on touchscreens, it was just wonderful to use. And there were, like I said, interesting concepts in here with, lifestyles and all of that, which was kind of interesting also. And personally, as a tech guy, I give Windows 8, I'll give it 2 scores. If you had a touch device, Windows 8, 8.1 is a 9 out of 10. If you had a standard device, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. It's just that they really should have done a desktop standard start menu version to accompany the touchscreen version. And I think that's where Microsoft missed the boat. They thought everybody would go on touch. It didn't really happen. There's still a majority of people just buying non-touch devices today. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.